How do children experience the world of today? What are they thinking and wondering about? What do they see? What do they feel? How do children imagine the world of tomorrow? These questions form the shared focal point of the European project Global Roots. 7 partners from 5 different countries have come together to explore how we as adults and professionals can support children in their perspectives on the world they live in. Looking at the world of today, we know we live in extraordinary times. How do we prepare for and find solutions for the times ahead? And how do we involve the new generations in this progress? Based on these questions, the partners of Global Roots have developed and performed art and culture-based activities and workshops in local schools. In a close collaboration between teachers, professional artists, museum educators, and of course the children. The results of the activities have formed the platform globalroots.eu with artistic experiments, examples from praxis, and useful tools for reflection. Global Roots is about asking questions, reflecting and experimenting, and involving and collaborative processes. This film tells the story about the shared journey of the Global Roots partners.
Global Roots is a way of thinking and also a process of learning. It is very important for us to be in an international platform and also to address topics like sustainability. It is a very urgent question nowadays, and I think that in our educational system it is very important for all of us to learn how to be sustainable.
It sets the standard for creating an impact when working with children and trying to knit together the sustainability development goals and the understanding of those goals through art. And it's an excellent opportunity to make a network between artists on a broad level in Europe, so that we know in Denmark how they work with art and sustainability development goals in Hungary, in Sweden, and all these partnering countries, and that we can actually raise the bar from the level we work in right now in our own country and even higher, using or utilizing the experiences they've had in the other countries as well.
It's a positive to know that you do something together with other people, and to know that other people from other countries work with the same as you.
To me, Global Roots is a very new experience because I never was part of a project cooperating with different countries. So it was very, very interesting to go through this, and I'm surprised how much you learn during this intense work of 2 years about the different countries, about their methodologies, and also how interesting friendships you can find there. I mean, working friendships, but also other friendships.
I always like to work internationally because it's really nice to see in other countries, how they work on sustainability, how they work on art education. And I think that's really nice about this Erasmus Plus, that it's 2 years, so you can really meet each other, it's long term, and you can really deepen the connections.
The project started with also a lot of children who had no clue about plants, because they live in the city, of course, right? It's not like they have gardens in front of the door or anything. We were collecting healing plants in the city space. Some of the younger kids said, "Oh, I never knew that these plants are somehow that important. I usually just stepped on them all the time, but now I'm going through the streets and I find plants here and there, and I even know who they are." So this was the first step that I think is a very important feedback. It is connecting children to nature.
The performance is about a little boy who suffers a plane crash and falls into the ocean, and he is saved by the little Greta, and who is a whale. The creatures living in the lake, all the sharks and the crabs and the big whales, they show this little boy that everything is very perfect and wonderful underneath the sea, unless people interfere. And that performance also addresses the topic of sustainability. And it was a huge problem for us, how to stage a question like that and not to be didactic and still keep the story interesting, and to have the children as our main audience, to leave the theater building with the way that, okay, we really enjoyed ourselves, but we still learned something very important. So I think that this kind of creative questions will come to our stage for many times and for many years. This was our first time, and we are going to continue to work like that.
The kids get this feeling that they are part of something bigger, a huge project in the entire EU. And I think that that's one of the things that actually layers and has settled in the local communities, and also at the schools, that they see that when they need to address the sustainability development goals, it's nice to have a project like Global Roots to do so.
What I find really interesting about the collaboration is that all the partners are very much involved, feel very responsible for everything. Yeah, it's so inspiring to meet companies of other countries that also have that spirit and that motivation. You have to deal with your own responsibility and the things you are doing for the project, but also it depends on what others do. So the balance between your own agenda and what's the agenda of the European project, from my opinion, point of view, my expertise, but also how to cooperate and to involve it in a project that you do together.
It's seldom to see a project that works so well. It's really smooth, and the partnership meetings and in the various countries have given so much, and I really would like to see that there was like a follow-up on the Global Roots and what we've gained, and maybe to address it for the politicians in the government, the Danish government, and all of the countries. I think you should create Global Roots as a case example for bringing art and sustainability development goals together. So we should be touring the ecosystems with the Global Roots.
If we want to change something in the world, then you have to start with yourself. I can point at you and say, you have to change. No, I have to change. And then maybe you think, oh, maybe I want to change as well. It's a movement. All the knowledge we have is a movement, and we put it onto each other, and we all get richer of it. And I hope in one way, in a few years, we'll be that big that we can really change something.
This concludes the story of Global Roots. But it does not end here. Global Roots continues to spread its roots in the partner countries and beyond, always searching for new involving ways to empower children to relate to the world of today and tomorrow. To join our network of connected roots, go to globalroots.eu.